Educational Communications and this station present Environmental Directions with Nancy Pearlman. On this series, we explore the effects of human influence on the Earth's ecosystems and discuss solutions to environmental problems which affect the quality of life on this planet. Environmental Directions gives you the kind of information you need to help you participate in decisions impacting your community, the nation, and the world. Now, here's your host, Nancy Pearlman.
Hello. We are going to be talking about using poetry to connect to Mother Earth with my guest, Ryanna Hammond. She is a poet, novelist, author, and business owner of All with Heart. She's also a solar nature traveler who has gone to many of our national parks in the United States. Her novel is Searching for Emiliano, and she has many poetry books. We Are Human, Hearts Bruised Never Break, My Cup of Coffee, The Door Between Us, and Skinny Dipping with Patience. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
You definitely care about nature, but you believe that somehow nature speaks to us. In what way?
Oh, absolutely. When I go out solo into the wilderness, I feel like I'm connected to the birds, to the trees, to the wind, and I feel that Mother Earth is an alive being who is guiding me and helping me get in touch with my intuition. And when I started going outdoors, I would bring a notepad or make sure I had a phone to write things down because I started getting intuitive poems from the world around me.
Why is it important that people have a closer relationship to the natural world?
There are so many reasons. The first thing that comes to my mind is it helps with our mental health. It helps us connect back to our roots and where we actually came from. I feel like in today's world, we get caught up in this hustle and bustle and this concrete jungle, and we can get anxiety, depression, eating disorders, all these ailments where if we just pause and go out into nature, we can find this peace and this calm that is surrounding us.
Your poems talk about a range of issues, from the destruction humans have been doing to the earth, to the beauty of nature, the healing power that we've been speaking of. Is there one area that is more important to present in your poetry than another?
Oh, absolutely. I think the most important thing to emphasize is the destruction and harm that humans are doing, because I think if we don't have awareness there, then people aren't going to be paying attention to it. Or it's like that Pocahontas song, oh, it's just this dead thing that we can claim as our own, not realizing that these are actual impacts that are going to affect us and the future generations of our species if we're not paying attention to it now.
Since we're talking about poetry, I think it's more important to actually hear some of your poems. Let's begin with one that you call A Letter from Mother Earth. Now, obviously, the Earth doesn't write the letter. You are doing an interpretation.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. This is called A Letter from Mother Earth. My dearest humans, I have cradled you since the dawn of your existence. I have fed you from the bosom of my creations, my fruits, my waters, my trees. I have allowed you access to the breathtaking, my mountains, my valleys, my seas. Yet you act as though you can live without the mother who birthed you, as if you can rip me from my limbs without repercussions, as if you can ignore me in all my splendor while I slowly waste away by your destructive hands. You are much too young to understand. Please look to the other animals for guidance. You cannot continue to act as though I am an endless well for your wishes, or even worse, replaceable. My dear loves, be kind to me, or everything will be taken away. Love your mother.
Such an important message for us to pay more attention to the resources that the earth has provided us to be able to survive.
Yes, exactly.
Another one that you simply call Mother, is that referring to Mother Earth?
Yes, that's another one. And this one, it has more of that edge where it's about the destruction. So this one's called Mother. Money is our greed, and earth is the pay. With desire and need, we cause her decay. Yet still, we proceed. Uprooting her trust, we tread each forest with anger and lust. From riches to rags, we turn her to dust.
we are certainly using the resources not always appropriately, and we do need to be more mindful of the scarcity of our lands, our water, the minerals that we use. You have taken on a partnership with Conscious Brands for your merchandise because you don't want to involve companies that aren't sustainable and ecological?
Yes. So through my business, All With Heart, the goal is to live my life all with heart and spread this idea of living all with heart, meaning to live consciously and live kindly with ourselves, with each other, and with the planet. One thing I do is I have trees that people can buy at checkout to plant trees. I also pay to offset every carbon emission from all of my orders, so that way anything that's going out from my brand is immediately getting offset through trees or various like reforestation projects. And then also the companies that I work with, I make sure that I'm using sustainable brands who aren't using artificial colors or dyes. Everything is all natural, 100% cotton, or that they're not outsourcing it where it has to do with child labor or fast fashion and everything like that.
What products are available at All With Heart?
A lot of what I do is services. I do self-development journaling workshops, and then I also have services for people who are writers and authors. I help people with copy editing and book formatting or digital creation or making book cover designs. So a lot of things that I do are digital, and then I, of course, have all of my different books available as well. What I do with mine is I don't make anything in bulk. I don't even make anything at all. I do it where it's only made to order. So I have a shirt, for example, by Comfort Colors with one of my nature poems on the back, and if someone resonates with that and that's something that they want to wear, if they were to order that, then it is made only one shirt to whatever size that they order, and then the carbon emissions are offset. The customer can also make them carbon neutral. So it is more expensive than if someone were to go get fast fashion buying from those online companies where you can buy like 10 things for $50.
And you can feel better wearing it, knowing that you're not being so destructive to the earth and to people's livelihoods. Since I'm not able to see somebody wearing that t-shirt with your nature poem, can you share it with us?
Yes. It's called Things to Replace for a Healthier Earth, and it's a beautiful seafoam green color, and it was the one shirt of my own company that I really wanted. Yeah, Things to Replace for a Healthier Earth. Loud cars for soft birds, bustling cities for mountains, concrete for rich soil, busy work for true passion, chaos for peace.
We definitely have to work for peace with the earth and with other people. We need to eliminate war. There's really a connection between what we're doing to the earth, what we're doing in societies, how we're destroying so much. We have to make changes. We sometimes have to sacrifice what is comfortable to us, and you have a poem called Sacrifice. What do people need to give up?
Right. Okay, this is a good one. I'll read the poem first. So this one's called Sacrifice. We live in a forest, but forget, because it no longer looks like a forest. There's too much. Houses, yards, plastic, toys, trash, cash, balls, courts, roads lined and signs. Caution, there will be no stopping anytime soon. Another breathless, flattened squirrel is splayed across the asphalt, blood and bone everywhere, arms outstretched. And we need to ask ourselves, whose sins did the squirrel die for? I beg nature to uncurl her vines, stretch across the freeway, swallow it whole.
How long does it take you to write a poem?
That's a good question. It could be anywhere from 10 minutes to like 5 months or sometimes even a year. The first one I read, A Letter from Mother Earth, that came to me in a meditation where it was one take written down and I never changed a single word. But then the one I just read, Sacrifice, that one actually lived in my head for about 2 years. I saw a dead squirrel on the highway, and its arms were outstretched like Jesus on the cross, and then the thought came to me, whose sins did he die for? Obviously, humanity's sins. And then for 2 years, I just had that image in my head, and I knew there'd be a poem one day, and then one day, it was like probably around 2 years after the initial seeing of it where it all actually came to me to be written down. So I usually try and give poems space, and when they are ready, they'll come out, if that makes sense.
I'm a dancer, and I've met with many choreographers, and they have to name a dance, and that's a challenge to have the significance of a title. How do you choose the title? For example, you have a poem called Training. Training of what?
Right. Yeah. Sometimes it might be a word from the poem. Other times it might be an overarching theme of the poem. So Training, that one, which I'll read here in a moment, is the training of humanity, essentially, the guys we've been trained under to be so disconnected from nature. So this one's called Training. The same construction worker, Bill, along with his team, come season after season to work on Felton Street. Each time he tells his workers about what's happened underneath. Many trees' roots, silently beseeched, went rampant and broke the pipes. Then the moistness of earth rallied and wore the sewer and power lines. The men gnawed in their hard hats, grabbed backhoes, jackhammers, shovels, pound with purpose through the gravel. The lines and pipes get reconfigured with considerable will. It takes 14 grueling days until the job is done. Then Bill trains his son, Bill Jr., to take over the company. Tells him he'll make very good money. So season after season, year after year, decade after decade, Bill Jr. trains, his junior trains, and his, to do the same work, to fix something that will never stay fixed. Earth continues. Earth rallies against.
I love animals, and there are thousands of species on this planet that are going extinct. They need our attention. They need our support. I love cats. I love creatures, even the spiders that we need, and the frogs and the snakes, to the big animals, whether or not it's a giraffe or an elephant, a hippopotamus. Did any animal particularly affect you, since you have seen some in the national parks? Birds?
Oh, absolutely. That's a great question. I think that going out into nature alone definitely changed my relationship with animals. It made me also rethink my relationship with animals, because when you're growing up in the concrete jungle, you are kind of taught to fear animals, bears, mountain lions. Oh gosh, they could be so scary. And when I went on my second solo trip ever, I was in Kings Canyon National Park, and I was on a hike by myself, and I turned the corner and came face to face with a black bear. And the black bear was sunbathing, and he sat up and looked me directly in the eyes, and I looked at him, and I just put my hands up, and through our eyes we were able to communicate without the use of words. And I was letting him know, like, hey, I'm not here to harm you. I'm giving him respect and space. And I just slowly backed up, and then I left the area. And I thought, wow, it's like the movie Brother Bear, where we think we're the ones, like often humans think we're the ones who are, oh no, we're the prey, or how scary all these other animals. But it's like all these other animals are actually terrified of us. Like if you go anywhere, animals are running away and hiding from humans because of all the destruction we've done to them and to the natural landscapes in the world. I started gaining a lot more connection and appreciation to all creatures, especially though mammals, like the big ones, mountain lions, coyotes, bears. I actually have another poem I'd love to read called Two-Legged Beast, because I think it ties in here. The bulldozer plowed through the mountains, trees, and soil. The coyote, starving and scared, ran through the city streets. A man exclaimed, "Look, a beast!" then shot the coyote dead and claimed himself to be a hero.
Hiking in parks is an incredible experience. I've been to so many of our national parks, so have you. I hate it when somebody says, what's your favorite? Because they all are. They all have different beauty and different ecosystems, different wildlife. I enjoy the Red Rock Country. Do you have another experience to share with us?
I would say my favorite park would have to be Yellowstone. That maybe is a cliche. I know everyone might say that if they've been there, but that was the most diverse and interesting park I've ever seen. There would be potholes that are over 200, 300 degrees, and then you'd go be in a very cold area and it's raining. And then I kept thinking how interesting that these animals who have lived here for centuries know how to navigate which areas are not safe to go to, which ones are too hot, and which areas are safe for them. So it was really interesting to just be in a place that was so diverse. There's even a section called the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone that looked like Grand Canyon in Arizona. So it was very beautiful and diverse.
Can you share a couple of more poems for us?
Yes, is called Nonverbal Communication. Nature speaks volumes in the city, cracking through the pavement, speechless. And the reason I love that short poem is because nature, of course, is very quiet. Nature is not going to be loud with us the way the city life is loud. So nature is saying so much by just cracking through that pavement and having one little leaf sprout up. And it's a reminder of what's actually underneath all this concrete jungle.
I'm always amazed to see the plants come through the concrete.
Yeah, I love it. It's my favorite sight. I get so excited every time I see it.
One more poem?
Sure. This one is called #fake. We live in a world full of artificial flavors, artificial grass, artificial rivers, artificial trees, artificial flowers. How did we not realize we'd become our environment?
Thank you for the incredible thoughts that will move us to action to save our beautiful Mother Earth.
Thank you.
I wish we had time to hear all of your poems, but of course people can get your books, they can read the poems. How can they contact you?
They can email me. My email is itsallwithheart@gmail.com. They can also check out my website, which is www.allwithheart.com. And then I'm also very active on Instagram, and my Instagram is @soul-led-wanderess. And I do a lot of nature content on there.
Thank you so very much for sharing your thoughts through your books, your poems. Thank you for being my guest.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad I met you and got to come on because it's so important to get those messages out in the world and connect with nature.
Correct. I have been speaking with Ryanna Hammond, who is a poet, novelist, author, and owner of All With Heart. I'm Nancy Pearlman. Thank you very much for joining us, and do tune in again next week.
If you would like free information about these environmental issues, go to www.ecoprojects.org or call 310-559-9160. Environmental Directions with your host, Nancy Pearlman, is a community affairs program of the nonprofit organization Educational Communications and this station.